Hello lovely people and welcome back to my channel. Not to anyone's surprise, I did pick up all three of the new Blitz Astral Quads that Pat McGrath released with her Opulence collection for Holidays 2019. I was really excited for this launch because I kind of knew about it already back in July when some images were leaked online, and I have patiently been waiting for this to release on her website because you guys in the US got first dibs on the first two palettes because they were released on Sephora already, I want to say in the end of September or something, and then it took some time before they landed on the Pat McGrath website. I could knock off some of the price with the coupon code that she had with the launch. Additionally to that, I was almost sure that on Selfridges they're going to be more expensive, and my suspicions have been confirmed. They are approximately 10 euros more expensive a piece on Selfridges now than they are on the Pat McGrath website. I purchased each of these for, I want to say 60 or 61 euros a piece, and on Selfridges they just released like a few days ago and they're 70 euros a piece. So I ended up actually paying less for these via the Pat McGrath website with customs and taxes included. I want to do videos with all three of them. I am going to split this into three separate videos because I want to do demos with at least 2 looks for each of the quads, and I'm going to start with the Iconic Illumination quad, which is the one with the burgundy shade. It looks like this. I'm going to do swatches, I'm going to do 2 looks, I'm going to give you some of my thoughts in the end of the video and some comparison swatches, but for now I think I'm just going to leave you with the demos. Today I'm going to be digging into the Blitz Astral Quads from Pat McGrath Labs, their Opulence collection for Holidays 2019 for the first time, and I'm going to start with the little quad here, which is called Iconic Illumination. Iconic Illumination, this is the box that it comes with, by the way, the standard packaging that comes on the mothership palettes, but just in a mini version. And that is the quad that contains the super gorgeous burgundy shade over here. Now, I think I haven't even dipped my fingers into those. Can you imagine how difficult that has been for me? So now I'm going to first quickly do finger swatches of these, just so I get a feeling a little bit of the colors myself. And then we're going to proceed to doing a look. I think I know what I want to do. There's very little that you probably haven't seen already done with these quads because they've been released already for a while and everyone and their mama did looks with them. But you know, I'll just try to put my own spin on them and we'll just go from there. These feel exactly like her normal special shades, you know? The ones in the far corner. So this is how the beauties are looking just on my fingers. Oh goodness gracious. Wow. I'm already having palpitations, you guys. They are stunning. Now, it is abundantly clear to me that even though you can create full looks with those, they are meant to be more like accent things because, for instance, you completely miss matte shades. So if you want to put something a little bit more like transition-y through your crease and outer corner, you're gonna have to pull out another palette. Normally, her special shades, the ones that feel more like that hybrid cream powder gel type of formula, blend out really well through the crease. I'm not talking about the glitter toppers. I don't think you can do that with the glitter toppers, but from this quad here, the shades that I mean are these 3. They probably would blend out through the crease just fine. But enough talking, more application of eyeshadow, please. Alright, so this is quite dark. I am going to try to blend it out, just for the purpose of the video. It is a little dark. I am going to clean off my brush a bit, so I pick up whatever is here in my crease and just try to put it upwards through my crease. I think in the future I'd probably grab for something in her other palettes, like a nice matte shadow from her other palette, just to blend something matte through my crease, but honestly this is not too bad. So I think on this side I went in really enthusiastically and it applied much more intensely, and on this side I went in a bit softer, and I really like how it looks like on this side. Obviously I have to even them out now for the purposes of not walking around with two very different eyeballs, but I do think you can definitely apply this dark brown shade gently enough to not feel like you're overwhelming your crease with something super dark. Now I'm pretty sure you can apply the rest of the shades without the need for glitter glue, especially if you prefer something a little more subtle, but I'm not about the subtle, so I am going to pop a little bit of my Pixie Epoxy from Firini and apply that on the mobile lid, like so, to make sure that the shades pack as much punch as possible. Then once again, using my trusty finger, I'm going to go into this beautiful rose gold here. If you guys didn't know that, apparently Mother has a thing for golds. I actually found like a little section on her website where she says that golds are her alpha and omega. It seems like it's her favorite like eyeshadow color, which explains so much, right? So as far as golds go, this one is absolutely spectacular. It is the most gorgeous shade of rose gold. Stunning, absolutely stunning. I love it. I'm actually going to take it a little bit further onto my lid. I was initially thinking of just putting that through the center of the lid, but I think it's so beautiful I just want to put it more lavishly. Now I'm going to grab a little flat brush like this one. This is from M-Brush, and we're going to glitter this business up. I'm going to apply this shade towards the inner part of the lid, the inner corner, and I'm also going to take my finger and apply a light layer of that over top of the rose gold as well, just to give it a bit of sparkle, but without really covering it up completely. Then I'm going to go into this brown shade again on a little pencil brush here, and I am going to run that on my lower lash line. I'm going to pop a little bit of this gold liner from LOC in collab with Tati here on my waterline. Right, and now for the really exciting part, I'm going to take a little liner brush, like a wing liner brush, and we're going to, I don't know why I continue holding this palette super awkwardly. I'm going to go into this burgundy shade here, and I'm going to apply it as a liner. I'm going to sketch it out dry, and then I'm probably going to wet my brush a bit to make the liner a bit more intense. Don't worry, you can't see it much now, and it will either way be a very soft wing, just because we put that dark brown there. But I think when I wet the brush it will become a bit more intense. I just want to sketch out where the wing will be now. I'm actually going to spritz a little bit just here on my hand and use that, just like this, and use that to mix the eyeshadow and wet it. Okay, and let's see what happens now. And this is the final look, you guys. Let me put a bit of artificial lighting here so you can really see them sparklies. And this is the final look with the Blitz Astral Quad in Iconic Illumination from Pat McGrath Labs, also paired with a lipstick from Pat McGrath. This is McGrath Muse, which is this gorgeous red in her Lux Trans formula. So for my second look with this palette, I'm actually tempted to do something that I never really do because I don't think it looks good on me, but I'm actually very curious whether this particular brown is going to work with my particular eye color. I want to do like a brown smoky eye with a bit of like this topper shade here in the center for a bit of halo effect, just to give a bit more dimension to the look, but I want to try this brown shade all over my lid as like a sort of smoky one and done kind of color, because not all browns look good on me, and I'm actually very curious whether this one is going to be one of them. So I'm going to pick up the eyeshadow on a very small, dense synthetic brush, and I'm going to start applying it with the highest concentration here, close to my lash line, because I'm not really planning on putting anything else through my crease. I just want to put this eyeshadow and then sort of blend it out through my crease, but I want to pack it on with something denser so that it packs the most punch on my lid, and then go in with something fluffy to blend it through my crease where I want the shadow to be a bit more diffuse. I'm also trying to bring it slightly like this in a slight cat eye shape, just to elongate my eye as well a little bit. It looks a bit crazy now, but let's see whether I'm able to make it a bit better. I'm going to take a clean, fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to start bringing this up in my crease and see whether this works out. I actually think maybe I need to apply just a tiny bit on my fluffy brush here. I'm not really applying much extra product, I'm just using whatever I pick up on the brush to bring it up so that it's a bit lighter in tone, because this is a very dark eyeshadow. It's not so easy to work with such a dark eyeshadow in your crease, especially if you have so much crease space. I actually don't hate how this is looking. I really love the elongated shape over here. So I'm going to go back into that brown shade, and I'm going to make sure that I have packed it on, especially in the inner and outer corner, just so we have that base for the sort of halo I want to go for. So I'm not going to pack too much in the middle of the lid, because I'm going to apply the topper shade there, but outer and inner corner I want to have dark. For my inner corner, I'm going to pop on the rose gold shade on a pencil brush. Just work it here into the very inner part of the eye. It's not really brightening, so I might have to go into the topper shade over top of this as well. But for now I'm just going to quickly pop it on. I'm going to take a glitter glue. This one is from Fairini, it's Pixie Epoxy, and I'm going to apply like the tiniest bit of this, but like really the tiniest bit, just in the center of my lids here, where I want the glitter to stick. And I'm just going to apply the glitter shade with my finger, like this. Concentrating it mostly in the center of the lid. We're going to diffuse it a bit more towards the sides of the eye. I'm trying to use the leftovers just to apply more towards the inner and outer part of the eye, so that it's not just in the smack middle. And I'm also taking it slightly here above in my crease, because it's going to stamp on there anyway, so I might as well. I'm going to take the pencil brush on which I had the rose gold shade and dip back into the glitter, just to apply over top of that, because I don't think the rose gold is brightening enough for me. And just apply a tiny bit of that over top to give it a bit more shine, so that it opens my eyes a bit more. Alright, for my lower lash line, I know this is not the best color choice. I'm going to look super Christmassy, but I can't help myself. I am going to apply the red burgundy shade on my lower lash line. So for that, I'm going to first apply a Kiko eyeshadow stick as a base. This one is in the number 37, which is also a beautiful burgundy color. And I just find that stuff applies on and stays better over top of these Kiko eyeshadow sticks on my lower lash line anyway. Now I'm going to go into the brush on which I had the brown, and I'm going to dip into the gorgeous burgundy shade over here. I am going to try to connect it with the brown over top. I'll just go a little bit into the brown to connect here on the outer corner. Just very, very lightly without bringing anything too much far down. Just like that. And this, you guys, is the second and final look that I'm going to do for this video with the Blitz Astral Quad in Iconic Illumination. I do really like how this turned out. Am I still a bit iffy on brown eyeshadow with brown eyes? Yes, I am. Not because I don't think it doesn't look good, but I do think you have to pair the right brown with your own brown eye color, because sometimes brown can look really awful on me, and I can tell you, even with this brown, if I hadn't put the topper shade in the center of the lid, if I hadn't elongated it, it would have made my eyes look really round and really unflattering, so I do have to be careful with it. I still stand by my opinion that eyeshadows like this look much more striking on people with like blue or green eyes, because it creates more contrast. Just to quickly finish off, I wanted to let you know what I used on my lips, because I'm going to give you like a small mini review of the product. I'm not going to do a separate video on it. I did pick up one of the Natasha Denona I Need Nude lipsticks. This one is in the shade Noah, and Noah is described as a neutral pink tone, and I would describe it, I would actually very much agree with the description of the undertone of this lipstick. I do think it's a neutral pink lipstick, and it is, on me personally, a bit like my own lip color, but with a hint of cool and a hint of pink to it, without it being too taupey and too cool toned to the point where it makes me look too dead. So I do feel like it's like such a perfect nude on me. I picked up the lipstick from Selfridges, by the way, and I did notice that Feel Unique released them as well. I would advise you to look on both, because the choices on Selfridges were quite limited. They definitely didn't have the whole collection on, and I think the last time I checked, Feel Unique had more options. I was already ordering something from Selfridges, that's why I went ahead and purchased it from there. But the lipstick has really beautiful packaging to it. It's like this not super hefty but also not really cheap feeling bullet lipstick in a white packaging. It closes magnetically, which I absolutely love, and the formula itself is, it's not a very creamy formula, like an overly creamy formula like the H&M lipsticks are, for instance, like the H&M cream lipsticks, but it's also not like the Luxe Trans lipsticks from Pat McGrath, which are supposedly creamy but are much more like a comfort matte. This is like a, I don't know, it's a creamy formula, so you do feel a little bit of that like balminess on your lips, but at the same time it's not super shiny. It's not very slippery, and it lasts really well. I do really love the formula on these lipsticks. I would definitely recommend these lipsticks. Now let's go back and talk about the Iconic Illumination Blitz Astral Quad from Pat McGrath. So the first thing I wanted to say about this quad is that it was the only one that I had doubts whether I should really get, because I find that a lot of the colors here are similar to things that are already in her other Mothership palettes, and I actually have prepared two swatches here for you just to show you, because this burgundy shade here immediately made me think of a shade from the Mothership 5 palette, the special red shade, and the topper shade here especially made me feel of the newest release, the Midnight Sun palette, the glittery topper that's in that palette. So I went ahead and swatched them for you, and they are actually quite different. So on this side here you have the red shade from the Mothership 5 palette. You see that it's a much brighter, much more vibrant red, whereas this one is much more like a wine-toned burgundy sort of shade. It's much more subdued. And over here, I don't know whether you're gonna be able to see, on this side we have the Midnight Sun topper shade, and on this side we have the topper shade from the Iconic Illumination quad. They're clearly very different, because this one is quite cool toned, almost pink leaning, whereas this one is much more like white gold. The brown shade is just a brown shade. I'm sure you can find brown shades like this in many other palettes. This shade, on the other hand, the gorgeous golden, rose golden shade. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is stunning. I feel like this is probably one of the most unique shades in this whole collection. It is so gorgeous. I did in the end decide to pick up this quad as well, just because I love Pet's formula so much, and I especially love the topper shades, and I had already watched other people's videos, so I knew that these shades are not exactly like the ones in the Mothership palettes, and I just wanted to have this palette as well because I knew I would enjoy it. If you're interested in this launch though, I would definitely recommend that you think very carefully whether you are going to get a lot of use out of this if you already own the Mothership palettes, and is it really worth it to get something that is so similar to these other eyeshadows that you might already have in your collection. If you're someone who worships Pat McGrath and wants to own everything that she makes, or at least most of it, then I mean, go ahead, take it. It's beautiful because it's not exactly the same shades and they still work very beautifully together. Also, I think this is definitely the quad that's going to speak the most to people who want more subdued, more daytime appropriate looks, because you can do so many things over here that are going to be very neutral, very subdued. Compared to the other two quads, this is definitely the most like neutral. I don't think there's anything more I would like to add regarding this quad. I do think the most important thing is to keep in mind that some of the shades in here are similar-ish to things that are already in her Mothership palettes, and if you're already not reaching too much for the Mothership palettes, then maybe think about whether this one is really going to add that much more uniqueness to your collection. And with this I'm going to stop rambling, because otherwise I can go on and on and on, and I really don't want to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see more of my content, then don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!